One hive that I could never win at because they sting so much. Now when you're under attack from a beehive and then you can't smoke them also. Not to mention having someone that keeps on telling you the down parts and says you can go in, I'm not. But now away with all of that, my problems had started in PE. And they involve sheep, lucerne, and some other things. But the first plan of attack is to try and treat the one and then fill the freezer. The thing is, I'm short on lucerne, and then there's one sheep that I had counted as it would fill the freezer, but now it's not going to be able to fill the freezer because the sheep shows sign of having parasites inside, not outside. So I'm going to have to treat that sheep and forget about it for a very long time. So I'm being tempted here because now I see honey for sale and I'm thinking, is it irradiated honey or non-irradiated honey? So I'm just contemplating. This farming thing is not as easy as you would see, and you find that there's a problem with this thing because it can't be this hard. It's hard because you have to load and then you have to offload on your own and then pack away the lucerne. Taking into account that it doesn't get any moisture because once it's exposed to moisture, it starts not being useful. And apart from that, there's a sheep that I had counted as now the one that I had counted amongst the ones that I was gonna slaughter and fill up the freezer. It's not gonna be possible anymore because he has signs of having parasites and he's lost some weight, so it's no use to try and slaughter him now because it's not going to be useful. And then trying to drive sheep is one hell of a task and a half, to such an extent that they can't catch their breath. Talking about catching, now you've caught him and you go back and forth with him trying to help him. So all things are in order now. The one that I had seen that it has symptoms of not being very well is now sorted out. But the outstanding part is that we still need to slaughter, and the dogs have started being very naughty to such an extent that they started killing chickens. So I'm trying to catch a mongoose so that I can locate it from here because now there's evidence that it was here. And it had gone through all the tuna that I sprayed. The surprising part is that there's evidence that the mongoose was caught, but someone somewhere took the mongoose. So I decided to retrap and see if what's gonna happen. Now the eggs are at risk. Now we have to collect eggs daily earlier than the mongoose's time, but also have to slaughter. Now it turns out that the second sheep that I had selected did not put so much fat on because now it's not as fat as I would like it to be, but we'll use what we have. I was able to do all the things, get some fresh liver, eat that fresh liver, and now sort out the butchering part so that we can fill up the freezer properly. And straight after that head to the gym, but now the last time I was here was a very long time. And coming back, I only discover when opening the gate that there's a hive of wasp, but it's not one hive, there's a couple of hives, and they're specifically put in the places where young children are going to bump the gate and they start attacking them because they are highly aggressive. I've been so overwhelmed by wasps, and specifically the ones that are called needle waste wasps. Those things are very aggressive and they're the exact places where... Now imagine one morning you've forgotten that there's wasps. You open the gate via remote, but the window's down. But just after sorting out all of those hives, there's still problems that lead me to go to the shooting range because it's too much for me. Around me is going south instead of going north because everything that can go wrong is going wrong. My puppies are now developing a very bad habit, but I've got it coming, so I believe I'm going to sort it out very quick because now they've started killing chickens and not eating them, but the fact that they're still attacking my chickens where they need to live in harmony with the chickens is going to be a problem, but a problem that I can solve because I believe I'm going to be able to solve it with the garment. So for me, when things are like this, I would rather just leave everything, leave PE behind, come to the shooting range. So one of the worst mistakes you can make is forgetting to put your ear pro again, because I'm used to shooting suppressed so much that the loud sound of a rifle is I can no longer tolerate it. I'm used to shooting suppressed, so I don't want to shoot anything that's not suppressed anymore. So I mistakenly forgot and put the bullet in and shot, but now only to realize I've decided two things. This 223 has a very short barrel, so I'd rather use it as a pig rifle for now until I can be able to buy a secondary scope. And the scope has to be exactly the scope that I want for the rifle. So sight in the red dot, but now forget to put my ear pro on. Class is in session to teach them a very valuable lesson, that every animal that's here needs to live in harmony with each other. And this type of behavior can't continue. So now the lesson is sorted, they've learned the lesson. The next morning it's business as usual, but now after this I need to go to Paddy because Nomgana has told me that he has a beehive. Well, there's 2 beehives that we've noticed that are available. No, yo no. Starting the second ones, and they don't have enough honey, but they have a little amount, which is barely enough for the fermentation. But now Nomgana is convinced that his hive has more honey than any of these hives. But he's not going close to the hive, but he knows that these bees are very aggressive. We are happy. So eventually we decide to leave the hive and just pack with a rock so that the bees don't leave. And leave because now we've exposed the hive, so we'd rather cover it up and let them build up, and then in summer we'll come and see.